we go for Mark Lance. Ladies and gentlemen, keep it going. Yeah, wonderful way to start. Now, shall we keep it going? Are you ready for your next act? Yeah? Very funny man. Please put it together for Brendan McNally.
Hey everybody, that was a pretty good start. I'm excited to hear it. I always forget about that fucker.
Can I get another order?
So, a fun thing about
same kind? Yeah. Excellent.
three of them. One is, when you go to a website, or I do anyway, I don't know if you do. It's not Pornhub. But you type in your password and it's like, that's the wrong password. I'm like, no, it's not. Look at my password. I know what my password is. And it says, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's, it keeps saying it. Do you want to retry? Do you want to make a new password? Typing in conundrum and it's just not having it. And then finally I'm like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to reset my password. And I type in my new password that it asked me to, and I type in conundrum. And the website says, you can't use your existing password, asshole. And then another conundrum I found is the 5-second rule, right? Because it's got so many qualifiers. Like, did it fall on a carpet? Or the kitchen floor? And if it's the kitchen floor, have you mopped it? And if you're brushing your teeth and you drop your toothbrush into the toilet, have you flushed? Like all these considerations you have to take into account. But the biggest conundrum is kind of like J.D. Vance types. Who are like, they don't like single women without kids, but with cats. And the conundrum is that they don't have an issue about men like that. And I think there's a word for that that starts with an M, if anybody knows it, M-Y, misogyny or something like that. And but I'm not too worried. I got 2 kids. Their nicknames are Stu and CC. And they're short forms for my student loan and my credit card. And like any parent, when my student loan, little Stu came into the world, I was all kind of excited because it was like all the things we could do in the future aside from just drinking beer and buying a stereo. And there was hope, and it was, this, that, and the next thing. And then school progressed. Stu got a little bit bigger, and then I finished school, and there was a recession, and I lost my job. And then Stu got an infection called compound interest. And I was like, fuck. And like any parent, in their teenage years, he started getting bigger and taking on a personality of his own. And I was like, is he ever going to move out of the house? And then I kind of put bygones be bygones and things. It turned out I was quite proud of Stu. No, I wasn't, but parents have to say that. When Stu got the pin from the university for 25 years of service, it was like, hey, who gets that, eh? What a loser. And then we had to talk about mortality, and I said, at least when I'm gone, you'll live on past me. You'll be my legacy. And because everybody wants to make their mark, mine just happens to be a skid mark. I got my set list here. And so it actually did get sorted because of identity theft. But I found out that I wasn't the victim of identity theft. I was the beneficiary of identity theft. Because someone stole my identity, and now they have to pay off my student loan and my credit cards. Which is great. So they're the victim of identity theft. In reverse, it's like a shotgun clause. And the opposite of identity theft is mistaken identity theft. And I was mistakenly identified one year as Santa Claus. Now the thing was, it's kind of understandable because I was dressed in a Santa outfit, and I was standing in a mall, sitting in a mall in the big Santa chair, and the person who mistook me for Santa was sitting on my lap and was 6 years old. So it's not like it was an Academy Award performance. But if there was a prize for shooting fish in a barrel, I would have won it that day. And it wasn't actually a very good job. I don't know, anybody been a mall Santa before? Yeah, I know, I'm a loser. I thought it would be fun, like a chance to play a part in childhood and the excitement of the holidays and stuff like that. But, after about 3 days, I was sitting there and I realized I'm just dressed like a big gnome, right? And I'm handing out candy to strangers' kids to lure them to sit on my lap. And they're taking the photos. And I was like, my elf was stoned and just giggled, and I thought I'd feel like jolly old Saint Nick, but I just felt like a fucking creep. I was gone with that. It wasn't great. But you know what was great? How about that pandemic? Yeah. At the beginning, my doctor said, "Are you drinking more because of the pandemic?" The fuck is that? And I said, "Not really." And the doctor said, "Oh, that's good." And I said, "Well, not really." And then there was talk about widening your skill sets and stuff like that at the beginning with the lockdowns, and you had the extra time. So I'm glad you come to my TED Talk to widen your horizons and your skill sets, and specifically on how to successfully shit your pants. This is a bigger crowd than my first TED Talk, which was how to unsuccessfully do that, because I guess everybody already knows how to do that, but you wanted to hear a real pro talk about it. And I'll get your pens out in a little bit, but there's one important thing you have to do, but you have to understand how you're going to get to that point, and that's when you fart. And there's like a granny fart, which is just a little toot, and you can look at each other and pretend nothing happens. And then there's like the stealth bomber of farts, the SBDF, which is the silent but deadly fart, where you're just like, "Oh, sorry," and your friend thinks you shit your pants, but you didn't. And then there's the rusty door hinge in a haunted farmhouse fart that kind of goes. And depending on how long that goes, you'll get a little golf clap. And then you got your standard fart, which is like, which is just a motorboat. And one step up from the motorboat upgrade now is a wetter version of the motorboat, when I call it the wiper, where you're like, wow, I might have to go to the toilet and wipe my arse. And more serious than that is the, for an abundance of caution fart, right? Where you're like, due to an abundance of caution, you actually go to the toilet to sit down and fart because you're afraid you're going to shit your pants. See, we've all thought about it and stuff like that. And then you move up to the mother of all farts, the Houston, we have a problem fart. Right? And I discovered this because I started the pandemic. I was out delivering groceries to people who were in quarantine and stuff like that. And I discovered that the only toilet I had access to was in my apartment. And I did the shit your pants math, which is similar to the kids piss your snowsuit math and stuff like that. And it was, I was getting into Houston, we have a problem territory, because there was a little bit of sharding going on and a little bit of pooping, and there was some turtling, and I was like, did the math, and I'm like, I'm not going to fucking make it. So I did the one thing you have to do when you shit your pants. You can take your pens out right now. When it's the last moment, you got to tuck your pants into your socks. Right? And I'm guessing you know why. I'll just finish by saying it's like, because if you don't do that, and you walk past somebody and they'll be like, "That's the worst SBDF ever," and it's like, "Oh God, dude shit his pants." But if you tuck your pants in, and somebody says, "Did you shit your pants?" It's like, no, that's just the worst SBDF ever. I learned how to successfully shit my pants because I'm a big boy now. Thanks very much. Have a great night.
That's a true story.